Hey guys, enter the stars, and we're live from France to give you guys an update of what's going on. I don't know how well this is gonna with the Wi-Fi because borrowing Wi-Fi from a neighbor. So we're gonna try and see if this works out for you guys. Awesome. Can you guys hear me? All right. So this is probably going to come through. Like I said, I'm borrowing Wi-Fi from a neighbor. Probably about 4 hours ago. So we are on our own about a week here, getting all this set up. I want to give you guys an update of on. Um, Mark is a friend in truth. Much as he's helping me, I'm helping him to basically for him. And I want everybody to know that I'm subscriber funded vacation. Okay. Mark is going through some really hard times in his life right now. It's the support people that he can trust. And that's where I fit in to this picture. And that's pretty amazing when brothers in Christ can come together and understand that they can completely trust one another based on the kind of people that they're dealing with. Now, this is pretty amazing because this is one of the properties, and this is actually in a place very close to the beaches of Normandy I talked about. So I'm going to go ahead and eventually do some traveling. But like I said, I'm borrowing Wi-Fi from a neighbor. I want to tell you a little bit about the people of France to basically alleviate all the misconceptions. Okay. My experience has been amazing. We're out in the countryside. I'm in a was built in the 1800s, which is just amazing. Right before I went live, I heard, I don't know if they were birds on the top of the roof or whatever, but they were scurrying around. I guess I need to get used to this. Over the course of the last week, I have been working feverishly, basically loans, and things of that nature. The traffic you're hearing in the background are tractors, center of town, and I can't wait to share some of this stuff with you guys. It's simply amazing. I'm up in the attic to Wi-Fi reception, and basically, this is the best vantage point that I can get good Wi-Fi until my Wi-Fi set up. We also have to, and then I'll have some wheels go around and do some more in-depth guys. Okay, so Mark's gone. Got the place to myself, and just waiting for the final touches. Be mobile and maybe do some live stuff with you guys. Shout outs to you guys. There's Albert, there's T. Kerr, Nash, 333, Betty R. Thanks you guys for coming out. The last video that I uploaded about the beaches of Normandy, YouTube has defunded it. This is all live footage. And because I named that video, The Beaches of Normandy, it was defunded. Funded this channel. And Mark has been gracious enough to accept basically whatever income that comes in. $100 a month. That's what he is taking to have me be here and manage these properties for him. This isn't like, clean it up and, Mark's, this is the real deal, you guys. This is what friends and brothers and sisters do to help each other. Happens to work out for Mark as well. to put that out there. Trolls come on the channel while I was gone. Everything up. I had to clean house, of course, because they want to make everybody like figure out that something's wrong or whatever. And I don't go for that on this channel. That's poison. Because with that kind of skepticism, nobody helps anyone do anything. I mean, that's where we are in this life. Everyone lives in their little box and no one reaches out and puts their arm and hugs each other. So, and guys, I look to be here for a very long time with this area, with the mission that was impressed upon me to carry out, helping Mark. And so basically, I'm going to be here a while. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the best use of it. Okay. Now, there's a lot of work to be done. It took us, gosh, Mark and I worked on these lawns for the better part of the whole week. And so now that the into a foot high, they'll be easier to maintain. So that's what I'll be doing here. There were some broken things when we arrived, grown. There's some painting that needs to be done. So this is going back to more of what we're supposed to be doing. Okay. And intermixed with that is some fun, you know, fishing, traveling, basically investigating. Mark and I had a lot of fun investigating some of the areas we actually found in the Eden. I'll be uploading that as soon as I get my Wi-Fi set up. Right now, it's like really slow. I'm actually shocked we're able to live stream. So I've got like 4 videos already edited that I've got to upload for you guys. Different adventures that Mark and I went on. We actually also found a lady at the last stand where the German Nazis were encamped on top of the mountain in Mortain, and it's interesting because Mortain kind of sounds like mortality, right? At this chapel where the last Germans held out, Mark and I were up there at the Vista Point. And I was talking to Mark in English, of course. And to this point, this was only a few days ago, we had only run into like maybe 4 people out of the hundreds of people that we have come across that spoke English. English is not as prevalent. So needless to say, it's a little challenging navigating through life, so to speak. And Mark's, like I said, he's dealing with some personal issues and things in order, and he's learning what it's like navigate through this in a foreign language. Anyway, back to the story of Mortain. So we're up on top of this Vista Point, and Mark and I are talking to each other, and all of a sudden, and she says that the U.S. Navy, and she was here, and I don't want to give away too many of the details of who this woman was, but basically, she was a witness of mass destruction being flown from America to Iraq. Words. Mark and I looked at each other, and I asked her if she would be okay for an interview, and of course not, of course, right? This woman was 60 years old and told me that she was still able to complete her, I think it's called for the military, at 60 years old. She didn't look 60. She looked about 45. She looked about my age. She said she was in the Gulf War and the body bags being sent from the United States, and that 50,000 people would die in that war. And they shipped 50,000 body bags to Iraq. And she saw us shipping weapons of mass destruction. I couldn't believe it. Now, I told her about my YouTube channel. But when you're dealing in this kind of truth, you guys, the kinds of things that we're dealing with here, lives are at stake. And that's why I'm kind of out here in an undisclosed location. Now, of course, they could find me, right? But in finding me and revealing how they found me, that would open up how they truly work and how they truly privacy. Does that make sense? In other words, they're showing their hand. So they can't say this is what we do and what we're capable of, because then people would understand what we're dealing with here. So I didn't want to give too much information about what this woman did. She actually told me what she did for a living now, but if I told you that, find her, and that would put her in harm's way. So we did get the back of her head, and I did a little commentary from the Vista Point that she told us. And Mark's actually on his way back to England. It's going to take him till 1 a.m. to get home. So that's what, 7 now. So he'll be home in about 5 hours. So hopefully he'll connect with me on Skype. Oh, it's pretty crazy stuff, you guys. Like I said, I'm up in this, I guess it's a attic, and it's got like hay up here. There's hay up here. It's like I'm in a barnyard or like a barn house or something. So guys, let me go in the chat here. What's new? Did I miss anything while I was gone for the last week? Maybe you guys can catch me up. There's Cracked Firmament, Nash, Epic Z, French bread. Yeah, I think I've eaten about 10 baguettes already. Cheese and butter. There's Amber, Robert, T. Kerr's in the house, Jim Bun Jones. I can't wait to get locked and loaded and be full power for you guys. I'll be definitely uploading every day. Toast with syrup, powdered sugar. Thanks, Jimbo Jones. There's Eva, ex Paul Panda in the mod seat. Ryan. Awesome. What's up? So I caught my first perch, guys, too, out of the Saloon River. So that's going to be cool. Cool, super red fins. I'll get this as well. And as soon as the car's fixed, I'll be putting on my dash cam and get some footage around the way, go on some trips, and share some stuff with you guys. Able comments, wuss says the truth. Okay, interesting. Ryan Perone. What is your family from? You look really cool. Jimbo says. I got some Jamaican, Irish, black, of course, Indian. So I guess you could say the Caribbean. I'm a mutt. I'm mixed with all kinds of stuff. Here. Yeah, let's see. I should be able to do Underground World News on Friday. You guys, saying the internet could take a week. All right. So what time is it where you guys are at? Is it early in the morning in the States? What you having this morning? Okay. 44. Gosh. I realized how out of shape I was. I was sweating like a dog. My back never stopped hurting for an entire week. Advil today. I mean, there's spider webs all inside the house. I'm trying to some horror inside the chimney. Mark and I found. There were like dozens of them, and we're in there with the broom just trying to these hornets out, and these hornets were the size of a man. Believe it. So that only guys that. And the properties are huge. I mean, one of them is several acres, so there was a lot of stuff to do. One of them is on the lake. Eating has to be done. Uh-oh, did they drop us? Are you guys still with us? Okay, there we're back. Okay, cool. All my friends in truth. Right on. There he is. Hey, did you he must be accessing this from his phone. Hey Mark, what's up, man? Thought we'd go live. Alan's internet. Now I want to tell you a little bit about the people here. Okay, because people in France get a bad rap. Let me tell you what our neighbor did for us. Okay. And Mark's dad told us to go talk to Alan, who knew a little bit of English, who I think are in their late teens. Know a little bit. So we went to, it's on the street here. We went to the neighbor Alan, and he knew about 10 French words. And despite the language barrier, you know, I get this because there's so much love in the French people. Okay. They came over, they drove all the way over to the other property, and he worked on that car for about an hour. He didn't want to give up until that car was fixed. He didn't know if he was going to get paid or not. And it's because people care, and it's real. And just even with a language barrier, and most people would use that as an opportunity to put up a barrier, right? To not have to interact and talk with people. These people see it as an opportunity to get to know other people and how they live their life. And he came over and he stuck with it and got us in contact with an auto mechanic so that we could repair the car. And he's right next door to me right now. I could see his house from this window because I'm using his Wi-Fi. Gave us his Wi-Fi code so that I could have internet until the internet was hooked up. That's what kind of neighbors there are out here. Now, granted, of course, not all neighbors are like that. Doing that in the States, ask someone to help me get my mechanic, where to find a good mechanic, borrow a signal. Can you imagine how that would have went over? They would have said, get your own, right? So Mark's on the ferry, he just woke up. Right on, Mark. Miss you already, man. Mark and I had a solid week. Mark's my new best friend. He's just an amazing dude. We're basically, it's not often that you run into people that are awake who you can be friends with. And Mark and I will be hanging out quite a bit when he returns. So, French fries. Yes, I had some French fries at McDonald's, Wi-Fi, and I had some French fries in a place called Fougères. And Mark and I were mispronouncing it Fougères. And then other Fougères. And this is our little joke. So, it's our way of cursing without cursing, right? So, I got some footage of Fougères, and I had French fries over there. And what else here? I'm looking in your chat here. You guys are the blessings, Betty. You guys are the ones that are the blessing. I never feel alone because I always have you guys and we have each other, right? How long are you staying, Casey? Says Crystal. I don't think I'm coming back. Gonna happen? I don't know. This is why I'm kind of being secretive about my location. You know, with immigration and all of that going on. who knows? You know, they'd love to come round me up, right? And I love it. I don't know if I'm ever going to actually learn French. I'm really terrible at languages. My ex-wife was fluent in Spanish, and I was married to her for 14 years. So that gives you an idea of, where I'm at with that. Yes, Mark says it's a possibility that when Casey settled in, he could have some Truth family visitors. Yes, and it's Mark. I got that backyard finished. I mowed that all up. Gosh, it took me 3 hours. I'm wiped out, but I had no idea I'd be able to go live. But it looks like I'm going to be good. So Underground World News is going to happen, and I'll be on with Dabu. But got in here too and swept and vacuumed up in the attic and set up this vantage point here so that I could get the best Wi-Fi signal. All the houses in France are made out of stone. I said in the beginning of the show, it's from the 1800s. And so it doesn't make for good. Now, if I'm outside sitting in a chair, it'd be fine. But because the houses are stone, you have to have your own internal Wi-Fi because there aren't really many earthquakes in France. And so some of these buildings go back to years, some thousands of years. Okay. And I were watching some old World War II footage and noticed that the telephone poles, and back in World War II, they were using the very same style of telephone poles as they are now. They're basically how do you describe it? Obelisk type pyramid shape, concrete. And it's got like, what is it called? Framework inside. That's what the telephone poles look like here. And they look the same way during World War II. That is a trip. So what else do we have here? Let me look in the chat. Yes, Paul Panda. In case you one word at a time. Yeah. So what else? Thanks, Betty. Vikings fan. Okay, my face is frozen. So I think that's about it, you guys. LG says I picture you to be a white guy with a ponytail. Yeah, that's what everybody says. I sound like a white guy, huh? Just goes to show you. You know, it's funny because I think that's probably why I'm put on this planet. Pharmaceutical sales I've shared with you guys, and they have phone interviews, and these phone interviews, you could have 3 or 4 or 5 of them, even going all the way up to the CEO of the company interested in hiring you. And you do an interview, and I would show up to these interviews after doing several phone interviews, and it would be just funny watching people stumble over their words and in shock because I look nothing like my voice, right? But, but I'd almost always get hired because I guess they thought that would have the same effect on they would buy things. I don't know. There's Dawn. Who else do we have? Don't forget the allergy pills. Yes, allergy pills. Under intense attack when we first got here. It was crazy. Mark was worried. He looked worried. Like, oh, I hope he's going to stay. And man, it was like, boom, it hit me. And I was sneezing all day long for like 2 or 3 days. Finally, we made it to a pharmacy. Pharmacies here are cool. You can get almost any kind of medication right over the counter. I think they even sell Prozac over the counter. They're a lot more liberal with their medication. here straight out of the pharmacy without having to get a prescription. And so we showed up, and then again there was a language barrier. So pictures. So I guess I'm pretty good at the picture thing. And so, and then she got it, and then she gave me, I think it was Zyrtec, and I took that. I think their medications here are a little bit stronger too. They can get away with higher doses of things. So, you know, very good stuff. And so I took a Zyrtec the first day, and then after like 3 or 4 days, just I guess it took my body some time to get used to the new pollens. And there's a lot of creatures around here. The only big ones are like the hornets. I did see a couple snakes. Man, these hornets were literally, they were the size to my nut size of these hornets. And Mark never gets excited about anything. He wasn't worried. I'm like, Mark, that hornet's the size of my finger. And but it's different. You know, when I was in Texas, all the animals seemed to attack. They were like these red wasps, and they would attack, and there were snakes and triggers or chuggers in the grass and things and stinging things in Texas. But here, the animals seem to leave you alone. To look at, though, I mean, these hornets were beautiful animals, but you know, they're in the house, and that's not where they belong. So the roofs are tiled with concrete, which is kind of weird. They don't have like wood roofs or they're tiled with these like concrete tiles. So that's pretty cool. And Mark and I know thing costs money now. It used to be free to go to Stonehenge. It used to be free to go to La Mont Saint-Michel. And costs money. So that's where we're at with that. Nice Saturn t-shirt, Casey. Keith Walker. I know, right? My old Nike shirt. By intention. This shirt needs to get thrown in the garbage anyway, though. It's old and it's coming apart. So that's awesome. You got to live in different places, and now you're in Paris. Yeah, I'm about 4 hours from Paris. Probably will never go there. The countryside in Western France, in a little town of 1,000 people. And it's got a butcher, it's got a bread place, and a little tiny one. And that's about all I need, you know? So, you guys, let's see, I'm back in the chat. Anything new going on YouTube, you guys? I've been kind of out of the loop. Buzz in my tower, and I spilled my orange juice as an ash tree. Yeah, Paris I've been to Paris before in 2002, and didn't really like it. You know, it was touristy. That's where the rude people were that are French. You know, we got treated really bad in restaurants, and service was horrible. Food wasn't even that great. Yeah, but the countryside is beautiful, and there's Paris. Kentucky got hit with an earthquake, said Barb. Chemtrails in France. Yeah, lots of chemtrails in France. Let's see. Somebody, maybe I'll try it tonight. All right, you guys. Thanks, I do all. See, I do all. Just join us. Django. All right, guys. That's all. I just wanted to pop on here. Love all you guys. Hugs. I'm not gonna have a phone, so for those of you that I talk to on the phone, to go on Skype or Facebook. James Brown. Facebook, it's Under the Stars. You can also get at me through email. Forgot to mention Elias. Elias is in the house. Thanks, Elias. And Dagger Spells, Miss Dagger Spells, Ryan, Joey 2 times, Lynn Frank, Josie Wales, Albert Kerr. Cool. All right, so I think I need a good night's sleep. Starting to wind down here. It's 7:40 p.m. at night. Birds are chirping, and you can see it's gotten really quiet. I noticed about France is there's kind of a respect for of God. And people wake up, they don't make too much noise in the morning. They get all their work done in the mid-afternoon, late afternoon. You see a lot of empty homes. And that's not just because people have vacation homes. I think a lot of it has to do with people just system, you know? Like I said, these homes are really, really old, but they're sturdy. They're built really well. You don't see people buying lots of new things. You know, they have a lawnmower that they've had for forever. You know, you don't see people constantly remodeling their house at every whim, things or new cars. You know, you don't see a lot of that here. And that's exactly the kind of lifestyle that I want to be here and blessed to be sharing with you guys. All right, guys. So glad you guys could make it out. See you guys soon. Take care and be safe, you guys.